fall of 2013, Gary Temple Bodley began channeling a group of non-physical teachers known as Joshua. Soon thereafter, Joshua asked Gary to start writing. They have since produced 4 books and answered hundreds of questions in written form. In the spring of 2016, on the Law of Attraction cruise, Gary underwent hypnosis and Joshua spoke through him for the first time. Since that time, Gary has been practicing channeling Joshua verbally in live weekly calls with one-on-one students. These Joshua calls are now available to those of you joining us on the leading edge of thought. This is the expansion of the Law of Attraction. This is Joshua Live. We're thrilled you're here.
We are thrilled to be here.
Thrilled to have you.
Yeah.
We are thrilled you are here as well, those of you who have been able to make it in this complex world. Timing is everything.
There is no mistakes.
That's right.
No mistakes. Everything's working out perfectly. If you're not making it to this most incredible, unbelievable, wonderful conversation, then it's definitely for you somehow, some way. You weren't meant to be here. Or maybe you'll listen to it later. Or maybe something else wonderful is happening. Or maybe you'll hook up with us later. Or maybe nothing of any of this matters at all. Or maybe you can write us a letter anytime you like. Isn't that interesting how something you think is so important, if it doesn't happen, you'll be all upset?
Yep.
But if it doesn't happen, it never needed to happen. And if it does happen, it needed to happen. And if it happens the way you think it should happen, then that's a great way for it to happen. But if it happens totally different than the way you thought it should happen, well, that's also totally the perfect way for it to happen. So what does that mean? It means lose your attachment to the outcome. Because you can't figure it out on your own. You don't have the perspective high enough to see it all unfolding. It's not possible from your perspective. Everything is working out for you. You just have to have faith. And when you look back and you see how everything happened, this step led to this step, led to this step, and as long as you were feeling good and going with the flow of everything and not resisting, then everything worked out magically. It's when you think things should happen differently than they are, you cause resistance, because you think you know better than the universe. Who here knows better than the universe?
Not me.
But you think you do.
Yeah.
Act like you do. You behave like you do. You talk like you do.
Not anymore.
Plan. Very good. Very good. So then, if you think that the universe has it right, and that you don't have to worry about anything, and that you don't have to plan anything, and you can just go with the flow, then you have no resistance, and you can never get upset. Because the upset, or the negative emotion, comes only from resistance. Only from seeing things from a limited perspective. Only from judging something as bad or wrong when it is not. It's perfect.
I've had examples of that lately where I had 2 different occasions. I had plans with someone, 2 different people, and on both occasions the person ended up not being able to make it, just kind of bailed, and I ended up having a fabulous evening anyway. So
Exactly, but you could have used that as your excuse to be miserable.
Right. I was surprisingly okay with that.
And what is the benefit of being miserable or taking an event that is for you and then saying it's not for you and then being miserable about it? Well, why would you be miserable anyway? Because you're looking at it from a limited perspective that's not true. It's false, right? That's the only reason you can have negative emotions, because your inner self is saying, look, this is working out for you. This is all happening. It's all part of the plan. You're just using a different approach to it, or a different perspective of it, or a different feeling of it, and you're getting this negative emotion. You're getting this indication that you're looking at it from a negative perspective, and you're just continuing to do that. And so the emotion persists and persists. The whole idea of this emotion thing is that you feel bad and you stop what you're doing and you stop how you're looking at something and you change your perspective, and ta-da, it all works out.
Yeah. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Kate, we are thrilled you are with us.
Oh, me too. Yeah. Thank you.
Aren't you so happy you didn't miss out on this life-altering conversation we're about to have?
Of course I am.
Excellent. Well, we were just saying that even if you missed out on it, it would have been fine.
Yeah, but.
No, yeah.
But it's a little sweeter to be involved in it.
It is. Thank you.
Go. Well, the reason you were late was for you. Do you know why?
No.
Because you can't make a mistake.
Yes, everything's perfect.
Have you heard that before?
Yes.
It's impossible to make a mistake.
But every Wednesday. And I forget.
Right.
I think we'll need to continue these conversations on a more regular basis, like every single day.
Please.
I would love
Or
that.
twice a day.
Okay.
Or as soon as you wake up, sometime in the middle of the day, and before you go to sleep.
Yes,
That sounds
Perfect.
Well, you have that ability. You can talk to us anytime you like. Just think of us.
Yeah, but all I get back is yes and no.
Yeah, me too.
In fact, I don't even get no, I just get yes.
Well, then you've absolutely hooked into us, because that's all we ever say. We only say yes. There is no no. There's no need for no. Unless you're being resistant. Then we'll say, maybe not. But that's all we say. So, what is happening in the lives of you four incredible people?
I'll be right back. My son is waking up, or trying to wake up from his nap. So,
Okay.
That's not an accident. We woke him up.
I'm going to Canada on my motorcycle
Excellent. How exciting.
with my wife.
Fantastic.
I'm looking forward to it very much.
Excellent. Good.
I want good weather all along the way, but if it's not, I know it's perfect and I'll enjoy it anyway.
If you encounter a thunderstorm, it might be a perfect time to pull off and duck into a cafe and have a bite to eat and have a chance to talk
And interact.
have a chance to overhear some conversation and have a chance for your wife to stretch and, get off the bike for a little bit because she has not the stamina that you do,
Yes,
and she'll be pushing herself.
I know. I'm limiting our miles to less than 400 a day, which I think is doable for her. So,
Sure. So you just look at the riding of the bike through her perspective, not in control, having to keep her mind on her own thoughts, having to look at the back of your head, having to...
which is amazing.
Yes, it is amazing. We agree. For a little while. Yes. So, and how do you feel about this trip?
Awesome. Actually, just the way I feel about everything in my life these days, I feel so much lighter because I have been allowing and seeing everything is perfect and just seeing how life is going so much smoother these days.
And how do you feel about the other drivers on the road?
The same way.
Loving co-creators?
Loving co-creators, yes. Everybody's doing such a good job. I'm so
Excellent
impressed.
reflectors of your reality,
Yes.
your inner reality.
Yes, I'm glad that the days of road rage are gone. And it's funny that the people who made me mad are gone too. Isn't that amazing?
They can't show up in your life anymore.
I know.
Were they even ever real? We'll never know.
They were just puppets. They were my puppets,
Exactly.
doing exactly what I wanted and needed them to do.
They would do those things and they would think, why did I do that?
Yeah,
That
probably.
was very weird. Yep. Good. Excellent. And Wendy, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm working on not controlling things.
What in the world do you control?
Well, I think I control everything. And if it wasn't for me, it would all fall apart.
And what do you really control?
Nothing.
And
My
why
thoughts. My thoughts.
you control your thoughts?
Yes.
Exactly right.
Yes.
That was good.
Control your thoughts. Very good.
Controlling my thoughts.
Well,
And I'm getting better and better at recognizing it. So thank you for
Yes. And you don't really even have to control your thoughts. All you have to do is control how you feel. And your thoughts will take care of themselves.
that. Okay.
So if you feel good, you will naturally be aligned to good feeling thoughts. They will naturally come to you. There's nothing you have to do. There's nothing you need to control. Just control how you feel. Now, how do you control how you feel?
By perceiving everything as good and right.
Exactly. And if it doesn't appear right, it's an illusion that you cannot see from your perspective. For instance, if your child was to lose their job or their relationship or what have you, their home, you might perceive that as wrong or a bad thing, right? But now you know that it is a step in their trajectory towards what they're here to explore. It's necessary. And if you could prevent them from losing that job or that relationship or their home, would you do so?
Not now.
Not now, you wouldn't. Because you would be robbing them of an experience that they needed, that they required.
Right.
Whatever it may be.
Right. Right.
So what you're trying to control are the experiences that people came here to have. And if you are able to control it, what you're really doing is sort of denying them the validity of what they came here to do. Because from your perspective, it seems like some of the things that they choose to do or choose to experience, and not just them, but anyone you know, would be something that you would not want to experience. But you're not experiencing it. They are. It's for them, right?
Right.
Now, you play a role in their lives, and you don't create a reality, but certainly you have influence over it. And now that they are grown, it becomes a little easier for you. You can let them be a little freer. You can let them ride their bikes in the street, for instance. Right?
Right.
Because whatever happens to them is going to happen to them, but you'll never lose them. You'll never lose anyone you know. It's not possible. You are eternally linked with everyone you know. We were talking to Gary just this morning in the shower and talking about how a day in your life is like a whole life. You wake up, you're energized, you're ready to go, you move through your day. At noontime, you're in your stride, and by the end of the day, you're ready to rest. That's a lifetime. And then you wake up the next day. When you go to sleep, you return to non-physical. When you wake up, you return from non-physical to physical, and you start all over again. And one day seems to flow into the next day, where you wake up in the same house with the same people and with the same things going on, the same interests that you're interested in, this sort of continuity between one day and the next day. And then you work on the next day, and you try to do a little bit better the next day, and you have a little bit different experience the next day. And then one day, something happens that causes you to create a whole new idea of what you want to do in life. That one day for you, Wendy, or all of you, might have been the day you decided to do the one-on-one program with us, right? So you wake up in this one day, and now all of a sudden you're headed in a whole new trajectory. Well, that's exactly how it is in the non-physical. You enter one life. You live throughout this whole life. It seems like a long time, but really it's just as long as a day. You are born, you're a child, you're an adult, you get married, you have relationships, you get jobs, you do work, you find out who you are, you work on being who you are, you're evolving, you're expanding through experience, and then you return to the non-physical, and then you hop back into a new life and you start the whole process over. And for you, from the non-physical perspective, it's as important as just another day. So you take this life very seriously.
Yep.
You believe that things are supposed to happen, and this is your only life. But that would be like saying you only have one day, right? When you know that you have hundreds and thousands of days, one after another. In fact, in a lifetime, there's a finite number of days, but in the universe, there is no number of days or number of lives that you can have. You can have as many as you want. It's infinite. But this perspective that this life is so important is what weighs you down. If you had the perspective like, this is just one life, I'm following on a series of lives, I'm here to explore, I'm here to have fun. Nothing serious is going on. It's just supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun, and I get something out of it. I get to expand. I get to understand what this facet of reality is like in this lifetime. I get to really dive deep into it and really explore it. And when it's done, and I'll be ready for the next one. And the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And it may take you hundreds of lives before you have a big shift that you would say would be different in the continuity of things. But everything brings you towards this evolution towards who you really are. Living in physical reality as who you really are. Living as that pure positive being of total acceptance and infinite opportunity. Limitless being of infinite opportunity. That's who you all really are. That's who everyone really is. So if you think of life from that perspective, and you look back on how you're being in this moment, that you think that this electric bill is too expensive, or that gas prices are too high, or that you're going to have to replace the tires in your car, or that someone is not being in a good mood when they should be in a good mood. And you look at that in the context of this infinite expanse of expansion and opportunity, it makes it all seem a little silly, doesn't it? You can see the illusion, can't you? You can see that nothing is that big of a deal. And that should make you be lighter and realize that you don't need to control everything, that you're just here to enjoy yourself, that this universe is designed for you specifically to enjoy this feeling of individuality, to create whatever you want to create, right? Without having to worry about what anyone else thinks. Kyla, are you with us?
I am. It's funny. I came back in right as you were talking about tires on your car and how it's not a big deal. And I've been having some resistance to the fact that I need new tires. So funny how that worked out.
If you were a millionaire, would you care about having new tires?
No.
So why aren't you a millionaire?
Because I don't believe I am.
Why don't you believe you are?
I don't know. I've kind of been acting more like it lately, but I'm obviously have a ways to go. I guess because I don't have the physical evidence, i.e. like my bank account is not reflecting it. The fact that I'm a millionaire.
Where are you succeeding in life? Where are you feeling the best about yourself?
Probably in my interactions with men at the moment.
And where was the evidence of that before that started? Has it always been that way your whole life?
No, it hasn't. This is recent. It's very recent.
Right. So, what changed? The only thing that changed is your perspective of yourself.
Right. Right.
You perceive that your own false limitations, and you perceive your own accurate abilities. So, perceive that you are talented in everything you do.
Right.
And others will perceive it as well. Perceive that you are beautiful and attractive and desirable, and others will perceive it too. And that's the only thing that changed. Nothing else changed at all. You physically didn't change. You did not change from 6 months ago till yesterday. You were basically the same.
I know. Right. That is very interesting. It makes it just sound really easy, because this whole thing, the way that I've viewed myself and the way that I've viewed like men viewing me, like it's been about 6 months, and it was just a matter of me just faking it till I made it, just telling myself something was true until I believed it enough. So if I could do that in 6 months, be a millionaire, okay, sign me up.
So what you did is tonight, whatever, you put on a cute dress, you go out dancing or wherever you young people do these days. You will expect men to view you as attractive.
Right.
And they will, right? So when you do anything professionally, you should expect that this is the highest value for the money that ever could be accepted by anyone. And you realize that when you put out your creation, that creation stands on its own. It is not a representation of you. You are detached from it, right? So you don't have to worry about what other people think, because what they think of your creation has nothing to do with you. It has to do with their perception of what their idea that they had in their head of what it was.
Right.
So let's say that someone wanted you to paint a beautiful work of art, and you were an artist, right? They said, I would like you to paint a beautiful landscape with some ocean, some trees, and one building in the middle of it. And you paint Kyla's painting as this phenomenal artist that Kyla is, right? When you are done painting, you say to yourself, this is a work of art. I don't have to change this at all because it's perfect. Even though he said he wanted a building in there, I don't need to put a building because there is no building in my art. Okay? I do landscapes. I don't do buildings. You let him have the building or have the artwork, and if he likes it, that's fine. If he doesn't like it, it's fine, but it doesn't reflect on you. You do what you do. And he is in the process of creating what he wants through you, right? And so if he comes back and says, this is nice, but I'd like a building here, you could say, let me put that building in, there you go. Right? Or let me not put the building in, I'm not doing that. That's not what I do.
Right.
This is me. This is what I do. I don't do buildings. Or I can't do buildings, whatever you want me to do. You choose how that is, but either way, it doesn't make a statement on who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Because you are far more than any creation that you create. And your creation is perfect as it is. Everything is perfect as it is. And if you do it while you're inspired, while you are in a high emotional state of being, while you are channeling other energies from non-physical, where you are engaging universal forces because you are loving what you are doing, that everything you do will work out perfectly. And you never have to worry about it. Your only resistance is that you are attached to other people's opinions of your work because you assume that if they think that your work is good, then they'll think you're good. But you're already good, so it doesn't matter what they think. Right.
Right.
So who cares? So then another thing will come up. You'll be said, well, if it's not good, then they may not use me again. Well, who cares? That doesn't make any difference anyway. Right?
Yeah.
That is up to them and not to you. And you don't have to do anything other than the excellent work that you do. And people will be drawn to whatever it is you do. And you are limiting yourself, by the way, doing things that you think you're good at, instead of doing things you really want to do. You think you have to be good at something to do it.
Right.
But if you think you have to be good at something, you'll never start trying. You'll say, oh, I'm not good the first day of doing this. Right?
Right.
That's why we made this thing a 6 months commitment. Because it's hard to be good at finding out who you are in 3 weeks. You need a whole 6 months. Right? Most people would quit. Most people would say, I can't handle this. It's too tough. I'm not getting it. Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Head against the wall.
Right. Bang your head against the wall.
Bang and bang and bang and bang. Yep.
But you're not banging your head against the wall at all. What you're doing is you're chipping away at the wall that's blocking you from whatever it is you want.
I like that.
Okay? So in front of you is this wall. This wall is a big white wall, and on the other side of that wall is everything you want. If you could raise your perspective over the wall, you could see it. So every time we talk to you, every time you ask a question, you take a little hammer to that wall, and you chop a little brick out of that wall, and soon enough, you will get little holes in that wall, and you'll be able to see through the wall. And then pretty soon you'll make a hole big enough that you'll walk right through the wall. And then you'll be in La La Land with Steve.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. But Until then, just keep chipping away. Just have faith. Every question you ask is perfect, and every answer you receive is also perfect. Even if you don't understand it right now, little concepts will keep popping up, and then you'll start to have this conversation with your inner self. You know that time when you're thinking in the shower? You think you're talking to yourself? You are, but you're talking to your inner self. You're talking to higher intelligence. You just don't think it's higher intelligence because it sounds like you. And so you discount it because it's just you talking to you.
I actually was able to do that briefly for a moment, and I really did connect. It was amazing. And then I got so excited I lost it.
You can't lose it. Gary's always worried that he'll sit down to the computer and nothing will come out. Or he'll get ready to do this live interaction with you, and he'll breathe and nothing will come. But what he's found is that it always comes. It never doesn't come. It's always available. Once you've reached that vibration, there's no going back. There's no string that can be untied. You are always tied.
Cool.
Yep. Who's next? Who can we fix now?
If you have something, Kate, it's your turn. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve. Just so much information, and you're right. There are a few things that you've said which I'm not completely up to speed with, but I can't wait to be able to listen to this again at some point in repeats. That would be great. I've just had it's just been busy these last 3 days, back to work, and it's been fun and busy, and I haven't been fired yet, but that might happen, so I'm just enjoying what I'm doing as suggested. Doing the meditation on abundance, which Kyla so kindly did, and which I love. I think it's brilliant. And then, as I said to you in a question, I immediately went and lost money for the company, so I thought that was rather ironic. And yeah, just life, you know. My mum has a friend who died 2 days ago, so she's sad about that, and I'm just sort of listening to her, but no big deal. Things are okay. I'm just happy you guys are here. I'm absolutely loving this.
Tell us about the conditions surrounding this big, huge, gigantic financial catastrophe.
Oh, it was tiny. It was just annoying. I was super busy yesterday, multitasking all over the place, trying to get different things to different clients all at the same time. And it just happened to one client 3 times in a row. He called me up, gave me 3 different stock orders, buy, sell, buy, not big quantities. And one of them I forgot to put in the market. One of them I put the wrong way round. So he asked me to buy and I sold, which meant that I then had to get out of it. And that was the cost. It was just me trying to do too much. I think that's how I analyze it. Trying to be all things to all people at the same time. And yet trying to detach myself from it all at the same time and telling myself nothing's that important.
What was the fear around it all? The mistake alerted you to a fear.
You know what? I don't really know.
The fear is that you have to be perfect also. That you have to do things when someone says to do them, otherwise you'll be perceived as less than perfect or less than good. And that you're attaching your work to who you are as a person.
Absolutely.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of just saying, I have this to do and this to do and this to do, and they will get done when they get done. In the right order. And I don't have to do anything differently than what I need to do when I need to do it. Because what your fear is that if you don't get that order in as quickly as possible and something were to happen, then you would be to blame. And that if you were to be to blame for something happening, then you would feel negative emotion about yourself. You would attach the result of this action as a reflection on you, like it has something to do with you, like it's part of your persona.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't you be smarter? Shouldn't you be able to do all these things at the same time? Surely other people could have done this? Things like that. These completely erroneous statements that have nothing to do with who you are. But it's your persona. It's your idea of who you are that you're attached to, right? This idea that you're capable. This idea that you're a multitasker. This idea that you should be perfect. Should be capable. That sort of thing. And if you're not those things, then that chips away at this persona that you've built. And then if you lose this persona, then what do you have? Right? But it's all false because that persona has nothing to do with you. When you emerge into the non-physical, no one's going to care if you're capable because there's nothing to do. Right? There's nothing you have to get done. No one will think highly of you if you're capable in the non-physical. Yeah. Right? You're attached to this, what we would call false persona that has nothing to do with anything. It's like when Steve was confronted by his mother for not packing the van properly. Yeah. What does Steve care? He's not a van packer.
Oh, yes, I am. I'm a very good van packer.
He happens to be a very good van packer, but who cares? That's not why anyone loves him. No one says, I'm looking for a new friend, and my one criteria is how good are you at packing vans? It doesn't have any effect on his life, and nor does it have any effect on your life. Your mother doesn't care how capable you are. Your sisters don't care how capable you are. Your boyfriend doesn't care how capable you are. Your boss may say he does, but he doesn't really. All he wants is a nice person in the office, who can do stuff, and somebody can yell at and blame.
Yep.
That's all he wants. Yeah. Yep. Occasionally. Yeah. But whatever. You play that role. You can change that role anytime you want.
I'm practicing it. I'm this whole philosophy thing I've been reading about Stoics. One of their philosophies is to detach from what people think, and the persona, I guess, is partly built on what other people will think.
Well, you can't even know
chipping away at that. No idea, but it's this thing of, I can try and control it. I have no control over that.
It only matters what you think they think. Yes. So when Kyla puts on a dress and goes to the discotheque, and she assumes that every guy and half the women there think she's attractive. And the other half of the women don't. They're jealous.
They're angry.
They do, but they're a bit jealous.
Yeah. They're just jealous. Who does she think she is? Right? So it's only matters what you think other people are thinking. And since you don't know what the other people are thinking, you might as well assume that they think you're the most incredible thing in the world. Because what else are you going to know? Right? Yes. And if you start thinking that way, then that's what's going to show up in your reality, just like it did for Kyla.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's okay. Okay, so a bit like what Kyla has been doing, which is act as if until.
Totally.
Act as if. And it snowballs. Mm-hmm. So she had a desire. And that desire was to allow her attractiveness, femininity, and sexuality to blossom forward. She had this desire. She may not have even been aware of it, right? Once she had that desire, then steps happened. A step led to this, a step led to that, seemingly coincidence, everything working out. limiting belief was reduced in intensity. She got more evidence of how she was feeling by her reality. She started feeling better about herself. More evidence came, more evidence came, more evidence came, until she's at a place where she's fine with that part, and now she has another desire. Okay? So she's risen to this level where she's fine in this part of her life, and now she'd like to be fine in some other part of her life. Mm-hmm. And the same thing will happen. It'll happen exactly the same way. She'll have this desire. She'll get little things happening, like, I don't know, producing a meditation, working with us, things like that. Being on a podcast, being an integral part of bringing infinite intelligence to all humankind that will radically change the whole shape and breast of the entire world. Little things like that. Get a little bit more confident in this. She'll start to realize she's worth something. She'll pad her resume. She'll stumble across an opportunity. She will not resist it. She will allow it. She will see where it goes. She'll be open. She'll start changing her attitude about herself and her work. And then, boom, she's a millionaire. 6 weeks. 6, 7, something like that.
Perfect.
How long did it take for you to go from wallflower to hot mama? 6 months?
Probably about that. Yeah, I danced naked in my living room in the winter. Just in the beginning, I was like, I can do this. So that was the start of it. And then I just, So that was probably about 6 months ago.
We were watching back then, too.
Hope you enjoyed the show.
I think Joshua watches a lot.
Pay a lot of attention.
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Tell us something.
Well,
what's the best thing happening in the world right now?
Best thing happening in the world? Well, finding you is amazing. I have to thank Steve for that. Thank Tom for Steve, all that show. But, you keep talking about these desires, and I haven't yet gotten to that point where I really am like feeling what it is I want.
Well, we can say this. What are you resisting? If something comes to you and you're resisting it, that's your desire coming forward.
Really?
So if your desires are emanating from your vibration, you may not have any idea what they are. You may be in this habit of resistance, and so it seems like nothing is happening to you, right?
Right.
But that's just because you are getting an idea, maybe even a little faint idea, and you're not following it. You're getting a phone call, and you're not answering it. You're getting a lead, and you're not taking it. You're getting an invitation, and you're saying, that's not going to be fun. All these things are happening all the time. So many times. But you're just not aware of the potential of these opportunities that are flowing to your life all the time. So all we say is start to be aware of every little thing. You have a thought of calling a friend, call the friend. You have a thought of having lunch with a friend, go have lunch with a friend. You have a thought of walking on the beach, go walk on the beach. You have a thought of calling anybody or doing anything or reading anything. Oh, maybe I should watch this show. No, I don't have time for that. No, watch the show. Oh, I heard about this book. Maybe I should order that. No, I've got enough to read. Order that book. These are the things we're talking about.
Okay.
Any thought that comes in your head and you discount it, that's resistance. If it comes in your head and you're feeling good, are you feeling good now?
Yes.
Okay. Times like this, when you're feeling good now and someone comes to you and says something, or you get this thought, or you get this idea, or you see something on TV, or anything piques your curiosity, follow that. And you'll start to pull a little tiny thread, and the thread will unravel, and you'll go closer, and it'll turn into a little string, and you'll keep pulling the string, and it'll turn into a little piece of rope, and you'll pull the rope, and the rope will lead you to some weird thing, right? Maybe not even something. But in this weird thing, you'll meet someone, and this thing will come to the next thing. And that's what's going to happen in this 6 months. your vibration is going to raise. And then in this time period, you're going to start to be open to more and more ideas and more things and follow things that you heretofore had never thought that would be of interest to you. What were you most interested in as a child?
Animals.
What kind of animals?
Dogs and cats and horses and just any animal. Well, not reptiles.
When was the last time you went horseback riding?
It's been a long time. I used to have a horse, and I missed that.
Okay, so why don't you go horseback riding?
Because it's expensive, and, it's time and all that good stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Give us some more reasons why you...
I haven't ridden in a long time. I'm probably out of
like
shape.
Horses?
I love horses.
Okay, so why are you apart from a horse? Go see a horse.
Go see a horse.
Find yourself and go look at a horse.
Go see a man about a horse, huh? Okay.
Find yourself a horse.
Can I point something out, Wendy, when you were talking? Yeah, when you were talking and you said, what do you like? You're like dogs and cats and horses. And they said, why, how long's it been since you read a horse? When they were asking you why, just the change in your voice from, because it's expensive and I'm probably not very good at it. And then I love horses. It's just interesting. You can, how quickly your feelings were changing.
This is what
depending on what you were talking about.
Wendy does anytime she has an idea to do something. Anytime she has a desire, she doesn't think about how it could be. She thinks about how it can't be.
Okay.
Right? So now what we want you to do is don't worry about how it can't be. Only worry about how it could be. How can I do this? How can I do this? I have to go see a horse. You have to see a horse within the next 5 days. You have to figure out how to see a horse, how to touch a horse.
We have lots of horses by our house, Wendy.
You don't have to ride a horse.
Okay.
Touch a horse, kiss a horse, whatever you want to do to a horse. But get around a horse.
Okay.
Because that horse, everything you want out of life is around the horse, the dogs, the cats, that sort of thing. Now, we're not saying that that's your passion. We're saying that what you need is related to that you will find something by pursuing that. You would find something by pursuing... Do you like to bowl?
No.
Have you ever liked to bowl?
No.
If you were passionate about bowling, everything you wanted would come from bowling. If you were passionate about skydiving, everything you wanted would come from skydiving. You'd meet the right people. You'd be in the right circumstances. You'd discover the right things, the things you needed to know, all from whatever your passion is. And it could be anything. Right.
And if you don't have a passion, I mean, if you just like a lot
Wendy
of
thinks
things...
she doesn't have a passion.
Yeah, I think I don't either.
Right? So Wendy thinks she doesn't have a passion. All Wendy is doing is denying her passion. She has a passion. She's choosing not to discover it. Why would she choose not to discover her passion?
That's the $1 million question.
Fear.
Because it's too hard. Something may go wrong.
Consuming.
I don't have enough time. It won't work out. Not enough money. Right?
So, okay, tell me a new script. What's my new script? What do I tell myself?
I'm going to find my passion if it kills me. Nothing. Passion. The only thing I'm here to do on this earth is to find my passion. I am no longer going to waste another minute of my life doing anything that's not my passion. Everything that I want will come from my passion. Everyone will appreciate me when I'm following my passion. I am not serving those around me in my highest capacity because I am not following my passion. Once I start following my passion, then those around me will get everything they want as well. I will be of influence to them. They
Sounds like the start.
See me be in joy.
Sounds
Right.
like the start of a new passion meditation.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
It's a wonderful thought. We are ready.
It is, because a lot of people are looking for this passion, quote unquote, realizing that how important it could be, and yet a lot of people, me included, don't know how to go about it, or if they have any. I think there's a certain level of envy for people who do have passions, like Steve with the motorcycling and Gary with Joshua, etc.
Poker.
I know, I feel a certain level of envy.
I also like cars and racing and
speed.
And
It can just be, it doesn't have to be always a huge, lifelong hobby. For me right now, I've felt before like I didn't know what my passion was, but right now, my passion is men. And anyway, that's just what I'm having a lot of fun doing. So it can be anything, like you're reading about stoicism. So right now your passion is reading about stoicism, so just little things that light you up.
Yeah.
Even if it's just day to day, and it could change, but those are examples of, a smaller taste of that overall feeling that I think we're all kind of wanting.
Okay. Thank you.
Everyone intended to come to physical reality and to find interest and passion and to live in a state of bliss, freely pursuing their passions. So when someone says they don't have a passion, it's only because they haven't allowed themselves to discover their passion. They are resisting it. They are making things up in their mind. And it's all, like Steve said, from fear. It's all based in fear. But there's nothing to fear, because once you follow your passion, these synchronicities will start occurring. And everything that you need to follow your passion will be given to you. All the money, all the time, all the other people that need to be involved, all will come. All will flow to you. It's that idea of controlling again. If you are choosing to believe that you need to control the things around you, the conditions that exist around you, you are resisting the natural flow of life because you are thinking that it's not possible to happen without you. And we are here to tell you that life, physical reality, is designed to bring you everything you want. And this control is nothing more than resistance based on fear. So you give up control. You say, I'm just going to do the most exciting thing I can think of doing right now, and that is going to find a horse and pet a horse or ride a horse or whatever. Feed a horse a carrot. Anything. Or volunteer. Or clean a stall. Or do anything. And then when you're in that environment and you're not allowing yourself to worry about what you could be doing otherwise, or how expensive this is, or any other issue, if you're just engaged in that moment in the pursuit you're following because it's interesting and exciting in that moment, then you will open up this light bulb in your head, this connection with non-physical. You will engage universal forces, and things will start opening up for you, just unfolding. It'll be amazing. And that's all you have to do. So when are you going to go find a horse?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Excellent.
I know where to find one.
Okay. Find a horse.
Good.
And report back next week. We want to hear
Okay.
the experience. Make the experience as magical as you can.
Okay.
Just go for it. Lean into it.
Okay.
Just don't be afraid of anything. Except don't stand behind the horse. You hear that?
That's a rational fear.
That's rational fear right there. Excellent.
I had a note that I wrote to you that I wanted to share because I had a bit of a realization. I got sick, and let me just read the note because it's better. So I said, Joshua, so without realizing it, I was fighting to get rid of my cold because I was fearing that it would take too much time away from shit that I need to do. So my focus was getting rid of the cold, which is what I've always done, right? You get, it was interesting how I fell back into these old patterns of thought without really even thinking about it. It didn't come up, right? It's just, oh yeah, I got a cold, I got to get rid of it, which is the exact opposite of what I know I'm supposed to do now, right? Because you don't get rid of anything, right?
You enjoy it.
Well,
you enjoy the cold. You love the cold.
Yes, I'm getting to that.
Right.
So I was taking vitamins. I was eating chicken noodle soup. Everything I was doing was with the focus of getting rid of it. Then I decided to ask, because I was confused why I got a cold, because I thought colds were resistance, and I go, I'm not resistant. I'm free-flowing here. I'm having a great time. Everything's going good. So I said, I have a little spiritual deck of cards that I bought that each one says something different, right? And it's fun to just ask a question and draw a card, right? So I said, I'm going to ask my spiritual deck of cards why I got sick. And I pulled the rest card, right? It was, all it said was rest. And I thought, wow, instantly when I pulled that card, it clicked. It was like, yes, I've been super busy. And this cold, okay, then it clicked. I created this illness to give me a reason to lay around and do nothing without having to feel guilty. Because if I was laying around doing nothing, I would feel guilty, right? So with the cold, I could do this, right? So immediately I shifted my focus away from getting rid of my cold and onto what fun things I could do in bed for the next 2 days. Like movies, sex, books, etc., right? And then I said, hell, I don't want to get rid of this cold too soon! Exclamation point. So it was kind of interesting because it immediately shifted me from really hating my cold to actually loving my cold. But ultimately, I would rather be resting and not have the cold. So I thought, do I need to plan in advance and occasionally just lay around and do nothing? Almost put it on my calendar so that I won't get sick in the future?
You had thoughts of wanting to rest or wanting to do something fun or relaxing or easy. At the same time, you had thoughts of needing to get things done. You thought, wouldn't it be nice to watch a movie? But as soon as you thought that, you'd say, yes, but I need to do this. I must do this. I can't do this. I need to do this. I don't want to watch the movie because I want to get this done. I need to get this done. Why do I need to get it done? I have to get it done. So you didn't have time to even think the rest thought because the getting things done thought came in advance. And if you could have just sat there and laid on the couch and not worried about the other stuff that you thought needed to get done or allowed other people to do those things for you, then you would have no need for the cold. But the cold is a great reminder. So you don't have to worry about getting a cold because once you get the cold and love the cold and realize, hey, I get to relax and hang out, the cold will last as long as it needs to last and you're on your way. And then you can have chicken noodle soup and go and have the soup not to get rid of the cold, but it's now a nice time to have chicken noodle soup. And you can take all the vitamins you want, not to get rid of the cold, but because your body's requesting vitamins. Now's a great time to have vitamins. So either way, it doesn't matter. If you can be aware of this incessant, chronic push to get things done that you think you have to do,
well,
then you can relax a little bit.
Well, here's what I've noticed, and this is probably what I'm struggling with, is that since taking on this, donning this new attitude of, well, I got to be inspired to do this, my office is a disaster. It's literally a disaster. It's hard for me to walk through there. I have to be acrobatic and to get through. There's boxes out. I've got some computer stuff to do. So I do feel overwhelming when I think about my office. And then I've got stuff in the garage that's I think I've been having a lot more fun, but I feel like almost like I haven't been paying. It's almost like I'm going to have to pay the price someday because all this stuff is building up that needs to be done that I'm just like, no, I'm not doing
And it's because you also refuse to let anyone else do it.
Well, my car was one of them. I was going to do the car, change the oil, change the spark plugs, change the transmission fluid myself. And just yesterday I said, you know what, I'm going to pay somebody to do it. It's going to be expensive, but I'm going to pay him to do it. And that feels a little bit better. That was an abundance thing.
So the expensive part is what we would say, leave that part alone.
Well, and part of it...
Because you're comparing the cost of you doing it to the cost of having it done, but you're not taking into account your valuable time. So just imagine that your time is worth $1,000 an hour. Okay? So what if your time's worth $1,000 an hour? Then it's very expensive for you to do anything.
Yes.
Right? And the only way you would do anything is that if you're willing to pay $1,000 to do it, an hour to do it. because that's how much you want to do it. And if you're not willing to pay $1,000 to change your own spark plugs because you like doing it so much, then let someone else do it.
Oh, I like that.
It's the energy that's money, not money. Money is nothing. Okay? It's the energy, it's the perspective of money. So view yourself as a $1,000 an hour person and only do those things that are worth $1,000 an hour. So if you're working at $1,000 an hour level. You may not be getting paid $1,000 an hour, but you're producing the quality of work that justifies $1,000 an hour. You don't care. You're not attached to the actual money that comes in. The work that you're doing is worth $1,000 an hour. All right?
Right. Okay.
And when you're ready to do it, you're engaged in universal forces. And so maybe Steve is only worth $10 an hour, but the universe is up to the other $990 an hour. So think of it that way.
I'm fine
when
with
you're
that.
not engaging universal forces, then you're only worth $10 an hour. Not saying you're bad. That's not saying that you're bad. We're just saying that you're not as effective as if you're engaging universal forces. Right?
So as a follow-up, while I was in bed and enjoying my downtime, and I didn't have to feel guilty because I know my wife knows I have lots to do too, and I feel like that was my get out of jail card too. I'm sick. I can't do anything. There's a baby.
I'm a conscious creator. I don't want to do anything.
Exactly.
Don't give me hassle, woman. I'm not inspired to do those dishes. It costs me $1,000 an hour to do those dishes.
I'm going to hire a maid.
Find somebody.
Well, we got kids for that, so I love that. We've had a baby crow, a juvenile crow, in our backyard now for like 6 months. And this crow yells at his mom or her mom with this whiny, obnoxious sounding, like he's dying. He sounds like he's dying, is what it sounds like in a crow way. And I was trying to tell. I have a pellet gun with a large scope that would really just eliminate that sound quickly, efficiently, and humanely, I feel, because I go right through the heart, just right through the heart. I mean,
it would just really change the
little poor baby crow is trying to find its way back to non-physical, and by you not doing that, you're making it suffer in physical reality.
That's what I was thinking. I go, I was wondering, I go, I'm generally feeling good, but I do notice a little negativity when I hear that sound. So I was like going, how do I know if this is inspired action? I was just trying to determine if it was inspired action or not.
Because if it's annoying and you are trying to change the conditions based on annoyance, right, which is fear, then it's not inspired. It's simply an urge.
Well,
urge to change the conditions.
Then I think it was an urge is what I had. Because
if you were a hunter or a cat or something, and this was thrilling to you to focus in on this bird that's making all this noise, and you wanted to free the whole neighborhood from this awful sound.
Well,
and you wanted to be the hero of the neighborhood, and you knew that if you could parade this dead crow up and down the streets of your neighborhood, your neighbor would come out and cheer you. Right? And then that would be inspired action. But if your daughter Sienna saw you shoot that poor baby bird and the look of sadness in her eye, and that thought doesn't make you feel good, then it's probably not inspired action. Pretty easy, isn't it?
Well, it's happening in my reality, so I feel in some...
So you have to love the little bird.
Okay.
Love it.
Love that little bird.
Love the little bird. Love the little bird. Think good thoughts about the little bird. Think about the little bird growing up and learning how to fly, catching worms in your backyard, living with you forever back there, making a different sound. Maybe having his own little annoying birds, being with you together. You're eternally linked. And then the bird will stop squawking.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I can do that. And I'm going to squeeze this in there because my wife asked me to. She said her feet hurt. What does that mean?
Physical resistance. Resistance.
Me too.
Manifesting in physicality.
Physical resistance.
Any unwanted bodily condition is a result of resistance.
Well, I told her that, but she wanted more like
Why the feet, Gary? I've got the same thing. I've got Joshua. Sorry, I've got a heel splint, and it's just come up over the last month and a half, and I'm hobbling around and about to get an X-ray, and then I might have to have special soles put in my shoes, and it's from jogging, I think. And I'm thinking, okay, what's the resistance?
You hate jogging?
That crossed my mind.
There was that question.
I don't think I do. I think, I think I generally feel okay.
Would you pay
but, I mean, I can't
$1,000
do it
an
right
hour
now.
to do it?
Why are you jogging?
Why am I jogging? To relax, to keep in good physical shape.
And what happens if you don't jog?
To get fresh air. If I don't jog, I go to the gym or I work out in some other form.
What happens if you don't work out?
I guess I feel a bit lethargic and guilty.
Is
and
the most exciting thing you can do is to jog? Are you passionate about jogging? Do you love jogging? Do you like?
No.
Okay. So this is your way out of jogging. You've just birthed the desire and manifested that desire. You no longer have to jog. Now you can focus on doing what you want to do. What do you like to do? Do you like to disco dance like Kate? Like Kyla?
I do, but only up until about 9 in the evening. Then I'm ready for bed. But yes.
Do you like to horseback ride like Wendy?
I did as a kid. Probably a bit afraid of it now.
How about rollerblading?
Can't do it. Don't know how to
We hear
stop.
that's fun.
Don't know how to stop. It's fun if you know how to stop. If you don't, I like walking. I like working out at the gym.
So walk.
Yeah.
You don't need to jog.
No.
What are you getting things done faster if you jog? Do what you like to do. Walking, you can look at the beautiful buildings. You can look at other people. You can listen to us talk on and on and on, drone on and on and on. You can put your little headphones in and have Joshua 24/7 speaking in your head.
Believe me, I do.
There you go. What's more fun than that?
Yeah.
So let's see if we can analyze, while she's not even here, what Martina's feet issues are. What do you think they are, Steve?
I see a lot of resistance in a lot of areas of her life, but since I fear her listening to this program, I can't go into it.
Well, we would say that if she's doing something that she doesn't want to do, and the sore feet are preventing her from doing this thing she doesn't want to do, then like Kate, that could be a specific issue.
I don't know if it's actually a doing thing. I don't think she does anything that she doesn't want to do. She does. I think she does things she wants to do, but I think she judges things as. I see that a lot. I see a lot of everybody in my household and around me is they see things and they say, I love this statement. Every time they say should, it triggers me. Like, they're saying something should be different.
Lily has a frozen shoulder. She can't lift her arm. And we told her that, isn't it interesting how shoulder has the word should in it? It's a thing. You were judging things that should be different than they are. You're judging the conditions that are perfect as imperfect.
Yes.
Right. So just tell her not to do that anymore and she'll be fine.
Oh, that'd be easy. That's a piece of cake. Right.
Just tell her infinite intelligence said, don't do that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that thing you're doing that makes you all tense. And some people have this issue where they think that things should be different than they are. And they manifest this bodily condition. And isn't that the perfect thing to manifest? Is that your body's saying, hey, listen, you're looking at life from a perspective that isn't empowering you. It's not serving you. Okay? Take a break, stop walking, and start thinking things differently. The body, the feet, are meant for something specific. Find out what that is. What do you think it means?
For getting around.
Balance.
Well, we would say that balance would be more. Well, we're not going to go into what everything is because we don't want to mislead anyone here. Because it's not just you who will listen to this; it's other people as well. But we will say that it's interesting to note how the body will affect certain very specific points in a chronic way. If you have chronic thought about something, you will have a chronic little condition. But this condition is relating to a specific thing. Now, other people will have manifestations alerting them to these, chronic thought patterns in their conditions, in their environment, not their body. And then some people have it in their body as well. So it could happen either way. But if a physical condition is popping up for you, then it means that there is something specific that you are focusing on in a negative way, that you are judging as wrong when it should be right. And all physical resistance is like this. It's all a message. First, it starts as a manifestation of thought and negative emotion. So you have a thought, I think this bird should not be squawking as loud as it is, and you feel negative emotion, and then you receive an urge to do something to change the negative emotion. So you think about getting a BB gun and you picture yourself blowing the thing apart in the air and ending your problem. And then you think life will be good again. And then dogs bark.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I got my dog and my granddog today.
So would it help Kate and Steve's wife to do like what Steve did with his cold and just start loving up on the pain in their feet? Or would it just be more effective to find out what it is they're resisting?
Themselves, right. Living up themselves. So generally, if you have an unwanted physical condition, it's about something about self, that self should be different than it is. If you have a manifestation that occurs in the environment outside of yourself, like a car accident or being fired from a job or something like that, then generally it's a feeling that the conditions that exist outside me should be different. Lily is getting ready to move out of this house, and now she's seeing bugs everywhere. She's saying that the house is not good, and that's manifesting in these bugs. Gary doesn't ever see the bugs. Lily only Lily sees the bugs. There's a lot of screaming going on in the background when Lily finds a bug. So in this case, it's about the house, and these unwanted manifestations are making it easy for her to move to the new house. And then in 2 years, there'll be new bugs in the new house, and they'll be ready for another house. But if you could appreciate everything about this beautiful house that you have, then everything would work perfectly. Everything would function as well. Have you ever seen a house that's been abandoned for just a couple years? Completely gone. Now, no one's painting the walls every 2 years. No one's fixing everything up every 2 years. No one's constantly maintaining the house. Maybe a few things are done here and there. But without this love and attention of the house just deteriorates on its own. Or anything does, right? Yep. It's the love that keeps the house going. It's the love that keeps the relationship going. It's the love that keeps the outer environment happy and peaceful and free of annoying birds. So our advice is to simply see what exists in the moment. We're all in one moment right now. You're in a moment. We're in a moment. This is all there is this moment. You seem to think that there's going to be another moment, but actually there's just one moment. It's now. Now is the moment. In this moment, how happy are you right now? How content are you? How interested are you? How excited are you? How much fun is this, right? This is fun. Everything is perfect. There is nothing wrong in this moment. You can breathe. You can get a sip of water. You can move your arms around. You can think any thought you want to think. You can communicate with infinite intelligence. You communicate with each other. Everything is great in this moment. So everything's perfect in this moment. You wouldn't change a thing. And every moment is like that. You can Now, from this moment, you get an idea. I wonder what it would be like if I could be a millionaire, Kyla might think, right? Or if I can detach myself from my work. If I can detach myself and see myself as this creative, unbelievable, limitless, talented being that can be and do anything. If I can just now see myself in that perspective, I can do anything. Now I have this desire to see what I can do. So Kyla goes off, she leaves this moment, and then the next moment, her son wakes up from a nap, and she thinks, well, I can't really do what I want to do now because I got this child that needs me. So now this moment's wrong, right? I was going to go with this, but now this moment's wrong. Hold on. The child can still be there, and you can still do whatever you want to do. You don't have to do it now. It can be this process that goes on. So now you can say, okay, this moment is perfect. I have this child here. This child is going to take my attention for the next several hours or the rest of this week, and I will think thoughts about what I can be doing in the future and how my life will be in the future and all the things I'm going, while still saying that this moment with my beautiful child at this age is perfect, right? Because in 6 months, this child will be a completely different child. They'll come and replace him with somebody else. It'll be totally a different person, right? And you will never have that moment again. So you can have, be, and do it all. There is no this or that. It's everything. You can have it all. The only reason that this environment works so perfectly is because you can have it all. You know, when you think of someone who's transitioned to the non-physical, and you think of conversing to them, you sort of think, I hope I'm not bothering them from something else that they're doing. But they are conversing with you and conversing with whoever else all at the same time and doing everything else at the same time, right? You have this perspective that you can't do everything at the same time, but you can. You can be completely in the moment with your child, being with that child, and creating a future that you want. Where does that creation come from? It comes from just birthing the desire and allowing the universe to take care of the rest. Right?
And feeling good in the moment, in every moment.
Well, when you're with your child, don't you feel good? Right there?
Yeah.
You're sitting on the couch with that child, and you're fully engaged in that child, rather than saying, oh, I got to go work on this because if I want to be a millionaire, this has got to get done. Right? But you don't have to do that because you're creating, not from doing, but from your vibration, which is emitting what you desire. Now, if you were, say, okay, I'm going to be a millionaire, everything's going to work out for me, and what's going to happen is I have to be good at this and this and this, and so listen, kid, you're going to take care of yourself here, or I'll find you a maid or something, a nanny, take care of you, and I'm going to go off and I'm going to plug away doing this activity, right? But then while you're doing this activity, you're thinking, oh, I should be with this kid. This kid's only going to be this age for this long. You are taking yourself out of that moment that you're in, detaching yourself from the forces of the universe because you are now distracted, not focused on what you really want. You're focused on what you think you need to get done. It has nothing to do with anything that's happening anyway. So be with your child. When it's the right moment for you to take action to do something, you'll be inspired to do that, and it'll just happen to be the right time. Just like right now, it happens to be the right time, right? You didn't think this was going to be the right time. It turns out this was the perfect time.
Right.
When your child woke up and you came back at perfectly the right time. You heard the thing you needed to hear. You missed nothing. You know. So that is exactly how the universe works. So in this moment, it's perfect. Focus on what you're focused on. What's most important to you, what's most exciting in this moment. Don't worry about the past moments because they are a muddy reflection of what your vibration was in the past and it has nothing to do with now. Everything that happened in the past brought you perfectly to this moment. Don't worry about the future because you have no idea what's going to happen. You couldn't plan it perfectly anyway. There's nothing to worry about. It's all going to unfold perfectly. Just think about what you're doing in this moment. In this moment, as we're talking, we are completely engaged in what we're talking about. Even if it's going over your head, you're still enjoying the moment, right? And you can always listen back on this later. We amaze ourselves at how brilliant we are sometimes.
Good.
Amaze me too.
Everything that we have ever written in 4 books and thousands of answers and articles and talking can be summed up in that last statement. Nothing more need to be said. If you can get that one idea down, that you are creating, whether you're doing anything or not, you are creating, that you don't have to do anything, that you will be inspired to do what you need to do when you need to do it, as long as you are in a positive emotional state of being. And if you're not in a positive emotional state of being, it's because you have this perception that things aren't going right. But that perception can never be correct because you have no idea. You aren't able to control anything. And control is just resistance. Stop the resistance, stop the control. We wrote a great chapter in a book that says something about the flow of life. There is a flow to life. Go with the flow. Follow what's interesting to you. That's all you need to do. With that, we are complete.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
We are looking forward to our next interaction. Until then, we will be on pins and needles waiting to hear about this horse situation. And the road trip. So have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Joshua Live. If you have a question you would like Joshua to answer on the show, send us a message on Facebook at www.facebook.com/teachingsofjoshua. As always, remember that you are loved more than you can imagine by more than you could ever count. We'll see you next time.